Hey guys, Anna here. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another speed build. Today we're in the world of Delso Valley and we are doing our first pack restricted build for the week. This is with the pack Get Famous, which is one of our earlier packs. We are starting to get into more of the earlier packs. For The Sims 4, I'm actually currently mapping out what I want to do for the Get to Work expansion pack, which I believe has been out for over 10 years, which is so crazy how far the game has come. So today's video is a little bit of a long video. It is a big house, as you can see. We are on the Bailey Moon Manor lot, which is in the upper portion of Delso Valley, kind of in that gated community where all the high profile celebrities live. You know, you've got your Judith Ward, etc. And this build was, I did want something that, you know, this is a little sneak peek into Thursday's video. So Thursday's video is a mid-century home. It's not a starter home, and I'll get to why it's not a starter home later. But it did kind of depict the styles of furniture that we got with Get Famous. You got this very like opulent furniture that's very elegant, that looks very kind of regal, kind of, and you'll see it with these couches that I'm setting up now in this kind of entryway sitting area. So you've got that style of furniture, and then you've got a very kind of mid-century modern type furniture. So it's got very unique styling, and I will have to say, spoiler alert, I'm not a huge fan of all of the ultra expensive items. I don't like the swatches. The color swatches are just, they're not as usable, and they don't pair well, and they're not complementary to other assets in the game, as in base game or within the pack itself. I feel that the styles are very different. We do end up changing all the doors and the windows that you can see now. We are just mapping out the floor plan. This is a floor plan that I did design on grid paper. I like to do that for my bigger builds, but I didn't have an idea for the upstairs, so I just decided to play around with it, and then we go into roofing. Roofing was very difficult in this build just because there are a lot of bump outs and a lot of moving parts, so you'll see that in a minute. So a little bit more about this house. So even though it's a massive house, it actually only has 4 bedrooms and 4 bathrooms. It's not traditionally the type of bigger build I do. Normally I do builds that are about 5, a 5x3 or a 6x4, which I probably could have done if I had done the floor plan better. There's 2 bedrooms, they're not bedrooms. There are 2 rooms downstairs that could technically be bedrooms if you wanted it to be. I, in this case, have done a private study, and I've done a recording content room, which is kind of, it's like an office, but I guess with like Get Famous, you have to, it kind of tells the story of potentially, well, what are they famous for and whatnot. So you do have this additional, I guess it's called a skill room. That's how I would describe it in any other build. So there is a skills room downstairs. And there are 2 living areas. You've got the main living room downstairs. You've also got a informal living room upstairs. As I said, 4 bathrooms. The primary has its own bathroom. You then have a massive bathroom downstairs towards the kitchen and the dining end. So I would, as you know, I separate my houses into wings. So that would be the left wing of the house has its own bathroom. The right wing has a smaller bathroom, and that's next to the living room. And then upstairs you have obviously the primary suite bathroom, and then you have a smaller bathroom that's just located near the kids' rooms. It's very small. It could have almost been, a half bath with that size. So, and then you have the backyard. So these lots are massive, and I believe they're a 50 by 40 lot. So they're quite large. And the problem I have with Delso Valley and it's the world. It's not the pack. I actually feel that Get Famous as a pack and its gameplay is quite fun. And if you don't own this pack and you were to buy it, that gameplay is enjoyable. You know, the first couple of times you play, and you go through the live career of being an actor. It is super fun, and yeah, so I do recommend it for that. But in terms of the lots, in terms of the world, it's not the best. It's not my favorite. So this particular lot had really bad lighting. Now, I always build in the afternoon setting of the lighting. At the top of the screen, you can see there's a panel, and it's at afternoon as opposed to morning. And as you can see, the best lighting actually hits the back of the property. So when I took screenshots, that's why you were seeing with the thumbnail, everything's from the back of the property and the lighting's off, and it makes the coloring really difficult. So the color of the exterior wallpaper at the front of the build looks totally different to how it looks here at the back of the build, and that's purely because of the lighting. So it's either, poor lighting, or you just have these massive lots, and that's why I really struggled to do a starter home for Thursday, and that is in the more downtown area in the world. And we ended up building a really lovely mid-century build, and I'm pretty confident that mid-century build, I want to say, it could be a 3x2. I'm thinking it's a 3x2. I don't think it's a 4-bedroom home. It's beautiful. And I'm really excited for you to see that. So that'll be out on Thursday. And yeah, I just massive lots. So the backyards in these builds are quite big. For a build like this, I wanted to get the most out of the front and the back. So I decided to add in like a faux carport, which we are just building here. And inside we do a gym. So we just put some gym equipment in and like a car. And it just serves as a way to incorporate gym equipment into a home, because with the Get Famous pack, if you do go through the actor career, it does, require you to have a decent fitness skill. So I wanted to make sure that there were lots of skill building throughout this home, especially with its size. There's no reason not to. So this is basically the shape we're working with. This is basically the exterior that we're working with. We are just playing around with the fencing, the outside, and we might be moving into mapping out even the landscaping. So in the back, you do have, you'll see it in a minute, a massive pool, an entertainers area. I also did a undercover shaded kind of entertainers area next to the pool. I thought that would be cool. I did add a little bit of play equipment for the children. I didn't put too much gardening. I put a lot of like shrubbery and flowers as opposed to planter plots, because I didn't feel that this is the type of home that would need that. They're celebrities, so potentially, I don't know, maybe they are into gardening, who knows, but I didn't picture it. I did an insanely massive pool. It probably didn't need to be that big, but again, I was trying to fill up the lot as best as I could. So I've made this undercovered seating area with platforms, and I've just added some columns and a roof section, and I like it. I don't really use platforms a lot in my building, and I really should get into using platforms a lot more. Platforms, I don't know. No, they came in when we got Snowy Escape. But a lot of mid-century builds do also use platforms. They'll have sunken living rooms and multi-leveled rooms in their home, which we see a lot. I see a lot in Australian architecture, builds that were built in the 60s and the 70s. If they've got that kind of Art Deco mid-century kind of vibe, they all tend to have that split leveling and stuff. So yeah, I changed the pathing with, Get Famous did have this paving, and I thought it was quite nice. So I got rid of the terrain paint. We're not trying to be cheap in this build. This is this is not a cost-effective build. So yeah, So that's basically the front. So now we're definitely inside, and I do feel like I furnished this home a little bit hodgepodge because I would start in a room and then go to another room. And I've been doing that a lot lately. It's just, I really need to focus on, okay, I'm in the kitchen, complete that, move on. And I think it kind of, it's a good indication of how I actually live my life. I'm very much like that. I am convinced I have ADHD and I just jump around all the time, especially when I'm doing housework. So I have to run around with a cleaning caddy. All right, so as we are decorating this large kitchen, I love this kitchen. There's something so nice about just the color scheme of it being monochromatic and just very simple, a really large island bench. And I really like those tall windows that let all the light in. And I think that it's really nice. So this is obviously the left wing of the bottom floor, the ground floor. And I've added some marble instead of the hardwood floors in here. I believe I add the marble in the bathrooms as well. I just think it gives it a little bit more opulence. This was a big dining space. It was probably a little bit bigger than I liked, but it's how I had mapped it out. All right, speaking about floor plans and mapping things out, we are upstairs and we are doing the floor plan for upstairs. And as you can see, I had a weird shape. It was very narrow and very wide on the ends. So one end obviously was the primary suite, which you're seeing here. This is the full primary suite. It takes up that whole side. So again, if you wanted to redo the floor plan and not have such an obnoxious primary suite, you could easily fit more bedrooms in this build, and you probably could leave the bathrooms the same. I find that 4 bathrooms is pretty good for a build, but you could change it. So, yep, they're the bathrooms, and now we're jumping back downstairs. So we're in the living room, and Get Famous comes with this massive TV, so I thought, why not? And I think these are like sculpture blocks or like display blocks, but I just decided to use them all throughout the build, and I just put them together and it looks like a console table, and I really like that. So as you can see, this is one of those items that's part of the, regal, royal, opulent feel. And I don't know, there's something about it that just doesn't pair well with the kind of Victorian-esque vintage items that come with base game, and I wish it did. And then on the other end of the side of the home, we're doing modern. So it's a very kind of all over the shop design. It's kind of a combination of the two. I think where I do try to stop myself and pull back and try to make the style a little bit more cohesive. We do have a piano in here, and I am just going to put some photographs. These are just from base game. However, Get Famous does actually have some good paintings. And some other standout items, I would say, is pretty much all of the mid-century items. I really love them. You can see this little corner cabinet piece that comes from Get Famous, and that is mid-century, and I just love it. The bar stools. So they've got these kind of, they're very similar to the poolside bar stools that come with Get Together, but they're a little bit more modern, in my opinion, a little bit more sophisticated, and I actually really like them. I use them in a lot of my builds when I do normal builds. So yeah, really happy with the lights, really happy with the tables, the chairs, and then the gameplay items. You've got the content creation desk, which you'll see when we go into that room, and then there's just some other items that that just really, as I said, it makes the gameplay of this pack different to what is currently in the game. And at the time of the release of this pack, you definitely didn't have anything like this. All right, so this is a private office. So I've gone in with this kind of blue and gold theme, and you'll see this blue and gold theme throughout the house. It's one of the swatches I really liked. I really liked the blue, but the gold I found was I don't know, it just looks a little bit phony. I don't know. That's my gripe with some of the swatches, as I said, with this pack is I don't like that particular gold swatch. I think it's too, I don't know. It's a little bit phony. It looks a little bit false. I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense to people, but yeah, that's how I feel about it. So this is the kind of, I guess you could say, the content creation office, or it's like a skill room or whatever. This build is available on the gallery. My gallery ID is Antoinette44. It is in the description below if you would like. So if you do download this build, absolutely gut the house out, refurnish it how you would like. But yeah, and this was a room where I felt that I could put a little bit of that mid-century furniture in there. So you could see the lampshade, the chairs, the rug, and it just looks so nice. It's one of my favorite rooms in the house. Dare I say it's my favorite? No, I think I really like the kitchen. It's very simple, but I really like it. And the first idea that came to me with this particular build was when you open the doors, I wanted that formal kind of sitting room. And I think we really achieved that. And then I kind of just built the house around that concept. All right, so we are outside. So this is, as you walk out, you've got a formal dining and you've got like, I believe I've got a bar there and the grill. And then this seating area is you've got more seating, like a formal dinner section. And then I just put some couches. I do end up using base game, actually. I just felt that it paired nicer with that type of, as I said, I'm jumping between styles. I've got a glass coffee table, which is more modern, but I've got these more traditional couches. But I think it looks nice. You'll have to let me know in the comment section down below what are your thoughts on the mixture of styles. And also we've gone in with a glass roof on the dining area, and I actually think that's quite nice. I think it gives it a point of difference. It also lets a lot of sun through, and light, which is quite nice. Okay, so at this point I'm thinking about what can I put in this build that's from the pack. Because obviously this is our larger build for the week. I want to make sure that I'm using as much of the pack as we can. There were some items that I should have used that I didn't. We don't have the piranha water feature. We don't have any of the, we don't have the foosball table or any of that type of stuff. Yeah, so I don't have any of that, but I still think it's a nice build. And I don't have the vault, the big vault. I don't know how I would use that item. I feel like if I had done a basement, I might use that item. But honestly, the house was big enough as it is. And I just felt I'm just going to stick with what I've got. We are upstairs. We are in that primary bedroom. As you can see, I wanted to section this and create zones. So you've got like a sitting area. You've got the bed itself. And you've got, I've just put up a wall halfway through, and that kind of acts as a natural divider into where will be the walk-in. So I'm just using the cabinet items that come with the pack, and I decided to just use the ones that have clothes in it. It's just easier. And shoes, so that's there. And then I put in like a chair just to kind of depict that potentially, like, you know, she's sitting on a chair or getting ready. And then I put in a mirror, and yeah, here's the thing, the big chandelier lights, I do like them, but as you saw, I did delete the one that was in the walk-in. I just felt that I couldn't see past it. I was struggling to build around it. So I decided to get rid of it. All right, so as I've gone through the build and buy catalog, I've just thrown out all the stuff that I need for the ensuite, because that ensuite is going to be very opulent and it's going to match the bedroom that we've got here. I think I do change the swatches on the, yeah, I think I add in a desk. I thought, why not? We do reconfigure that sitting area, so I think I actually get rid of one of the chairs potentially, maybe. And then I put in a computer. I like it. It's simple. It does what it needs to do. And yeah, so again, this is filled with all the gold. So I just changed all the swatches. I went with that kind of lighter gold. It's more of a yellowy gold with the white. And I think I end up changing the curtains in the bedroom as well, because I felt that it was a bit too much. I love these spa tubs. I never use these corner tubs, and this was a good build to use it in. And then I had this weird space. I had a wide-ish kind of space that leads into the primary suite. So I thought, why not do a second living area? It makes sense. In a way, you could almost like live upstairs, or there's that many areas to be that you just don't even need to go downstairs. It's like a big house. I wanted to use that big couch again, and this obviously leads into the furniture into the bedroom. I decided that this rug looked way better out there, so I've just swapped the rugs around, and I've just reconfigured that furniture. And yeah. Curtains. I did struggle with curtains because the curtains with Get Famous are, in my opinion, they're not really usable. They're really usable on set, and they're good for the acting career, but in homes, I didn't want to use them, and I didn't want to put those big, over the top, opulent curtains all around the home, because I use different size windows. So some windows, they suit that type of curtain, and some they are not. I had these weird little spaces in the hallway, so I thought, why not do like a little playroom, improv playroom? And this is down in the section of the house where all of the kids' rooms are anyway, so it makes sense to have this little area. So this is just like a little play area. And then we will be moving into the bedrooms. So this is the first room. I decided to use some bunk beds just because I didn't know how many Sims I wanted potentially in this type of home. But again, if you didn't want bunk beds, you could just put a single bed in here. But it definitely is an awkward shaped room. So you would need to have either a toddler, infant, or a child. You probably wouldn't put a teen in here unless they had a single bed. You could always do it that way. I just kind of went with the color theme. Obviously, Get Famous doesn't have too much for kids to do. So this is primarily base game. Got some toys. Yeah, very simple. And then we move in to the twin room. So this is a twin child's room, and again, we're changing the style again. So this is that more, they're the kind of Victorian type items that come with base game, more vintage. So it's interesting how the style changes throughout this build, but I still think it looks good because we've been consistent with it. All right, so what else can we talk about in this build? So yeah, this particular room I thought would be good. I always think it's nice to have twin rooms because it's a little bit more realistic, in my opinion. All right, so this is the final bedroom of the house, and this is just like a teen's room, or it could be a spare bedroom, or if you had, I believe, is it luxury? Oh, what's the name? Vintage Glamour. Vintage Glamour. If you had the Vintage Glamour pack and you had a butler, this could be the butler's room. It's that type of kind of room where it's just like, it's got a double bed. It can be for like an adult sim or whatnot. But yeah, and it has its own computer, and yeah, it just has everything that you need. And I do like this room. I think it gets good light. I do change the color of the curtains, and then I put in this really lovely, I think I used like a beige or an orange. Yeah, beige. Beige wallpaper, ties in with the bed. All right, and now we're just doing our final touches. So we're just up to furnishing the little carport area. As I said, I just put some gym equipment, and then I sized up a model car. And the car inside the garage is probably not a car that this type of sim would drive, but it's inside, it doesn't matter. And then I put one on the outside, And yeah, that's just a very simple room. And I thought that that just made a whole heap of sense because, as I said, in that acting career, you do need fitness skill. Okay, so all right, we are live in game and we are going around for the tour. So I didn't actually record the landscaping of this build. I felt that the build was a bit too long. The video was too long anyway. So we're in the tour. So that's your kitchen. This is your downstairs bathroom. You walk through that main sitting area into a living room, into that content creation room or skill room. And then across the hall, you have the office, like a private study. And then the downstairs bathroom on the right-hand side. So they're very similar, all bathrooms. We then go upstairs into the general foyer, which has a second living room. Just moved a painting. You got another desk there. Into the primary suite. So we've got really nice primary suite. I did keep the curtains that color, but I tied it in with that ottoman, which is really nice. And then there's that opulent bathroom that we saw. Really nice. Just adding in some curtains into that space. And then we are heading back down the hall towards the kids' rooms. You have that kids' play room area. You've got a twin child's room. That little bathroom that you can see there, just a smaller bathroom. And a second kids' room, child's room. And then a spare room, adult's room, teen room, what you would like. And then I believe we are heading outside. So you can see all the landscaping. You've got that bar and those bar stools I was telling you about that I love. That kind of entertaining sitting area. Look at that view. How pretty is that? And then you've got your pool. I'm just going to tidy that up a little bit. That comes with a pool trim, a marble pool trim. And yeah, and then you've got inside that carport with that gym and whatnot. So that is the build today, guys. If you have stayed to the end, thank you so much. I do understand if it was a bit of a long one. If you like this type of content, let me know in the comment section down below. And I hope you have a wonderful day and I will see you next time. Bye-bye for now.